Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. I get a lot of requests for bad comics, but aside from Sonic the Hedgehog comics, I don't think I get more requests to do something than a comic called Ultimatum. You know what a good pick for a bad comic to review on Atop the Fourth Wall? Ultimatum. I don't know if somebody asked for it already, but what about Ultimatum? I'll say it again, Ultimatum. But this time he has to read Ultimatum, the Marvel Ultimate Universe's equivalent to DC's Countdown, Ultimatum. Also, I would like to suggest a comic for you to review, Ultimatum. Personally, I found Ultimatum to be worse than Countdown, or the worst so-called event of 2009, Marvel's Ultimatum. Ultimatum, Ultimatum, Ultimatum! Whoa! People! Chillax, okay? Yes, I'll get to Ultimatum! You guys just want me to jump right into it? How can I review Ultimatum if I don't first review Ultimates 3 and the Ultimate Universe as a whole? The Ultimate Universe is a Marvel imprint started in the year 2000. The idea was simple: create an entire new continuity using existing characters that could deviate from the norm but start from scratch so you could get new non-comic readers on board that wouldn't be scared away by decades of continuity. I've never understood the logic of hooking non-comic readers on like this. If they don't read comics in the first place, how the hell do you advertise to them, "Hey, pick up this new comic"? But anyway, the Ultimate Universe proved to be a huge success, with titles like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, and so forth. But instead of having their own Avengers team, the premier Marvel super team, they had the Ultimates. Both Ultimates 1 and 2 were hyped as basically the comic equivalent of a summer blockbuster movie, with the biggest, most lavish possible settings and scenarios, epic storytelling, and gorgeous artwork and writing. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of them. Don't get me wrong, there are parts of them that I like, and there are great moments and ideas, but a lot of the time the characters aren't all that appealing to me, especially when half the time they're more motivated by ratings than they are actual superhero work. And please don't accuse me of just not getting it or wanting me to analyze some deeper meaning that Mark Millar is trying to convey that will somehow make me call it one of the greatest works of our time. I just don't like it. It's just my opinion on it, but if you really want me to give something up for saying such a thing, then I'll say there are parts of Watchmen that I don't like. For that matter, I dislike the Ultimate Universe as a whole. This idea that somehow superheroes in the real world are going to be assholes, or that the governments of Earth will try to have the perfect super beings as weapons, or etc., just doesn't appeal to me. It's just me here. I don't want to read about a Spider-Man where he's still a teenager and he faces a Green Goblin who's some 10-foot monstrosity, or that Gwen Stacy was killed by Carnage. It's just not for me. So yeah, I freely admit that I'm walking into the Ultimate stuff not liking it to begin with, but whoo boy, up until Ultimatum came out, it was Ultimates 3 that had everyone raging mad. So let's dig into Ultimates 3 number 1 and number 2 and see what's got people so angry. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a pretty hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazons and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white.
Now before we begin, we should also talk about the writer, Jeff Loeb. Comic fans can be very opinionated when it comes to liking or disliking certain creative teams, and Jeff Loeb's certainly one of the more polarizing creators out there. For me, he's hit and miss. I personally found Hush to be one of the best Batman stories of the last decade, but others have made heavy criticism of it. Conversely, I found The Long Halloween, one of his more critically acclaimed series, and his other Batman works with artist Tim Saleh, to be slow, confusing, and altogether boring. Loeb, like many other writers, seems to work better when he's not working with previously established continuity. The problem being that when you put them on a book with established continuity, the flaws seem all the more glaring. For that reason, I'm not going to be too harsh in reviewing Ultimates 3's breaks in continuity with the previous two series, but I'm also going to be slapping my head at the stupider bits too. With that, I'm also not bothering with the covers this time, since I'm reviewing from the hardcover, and, well, frankly, I think all of the covers of the Ultimates have been pretty lackluster. We open to a video of Tony Stark and the Black Widow having sex. Well, looks like they finally dropped the pretense and are just trying to turn superhero books into porno mags. No, actually, this is kinda sorta something from Ultimates 2, where the Black Widow was actually a traitor on the team intending to ensure America wouldn't succeed in a superpowered arms race and almost married Tony Stark. The Wasp reveals that this footage has been leaked all over the internet and on TV, with both CNN and NBC broadcasting it. Well, looks like they finally just dropped the pretense and are trying to turn mainstream news into porn. Wait. By the way, this whole thing ends up having nothing really to do with the story, so I don't get what the hell the point of it was anyway. However, the real concern is that they realize the footage has been edited, as if someone was in the room with them, but Wasp says to forget about the security breach and instead worry about the public relations fiasco it causes. Our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and then Venom attacks. Yeah, just out of nowhere. Okay? He starts demanding to know where she is, and then we're outside for some reason with Hawkeye blasting away with his guns. Now he's got a crossbow on his wrist, and if it seems like I'm confused, it's only because I am. The colors on this are horrendous. It's all in darker shades, or in orange, as if everything was taking place during sunset. As such, I can't tell what's going on.
And now I have something for you. Here, check out my awesome pecs. Damn, it's good to be a symbiote.
Then Black Panther appears and punches him. Where the hell did he come from? He wasn't in either of the previous Ultimates books, and all he does is punch Venom for a bit, and Venom tosses him out like a rag doll. Wasp flies off to get help, and Venom launches out some of his symbiote goo at Hawkeye's face.
Eat this.
A bit salty, but delicious. Venom, you've got yourself a tasty snack food right here. Oh, and then Valkyrie shows up. She was in Ultimates 2, but basically was there to act as eye candy for a second-rate team of wannabe superheroes. Now she's Thor's girlfriend here. Not sure how that happened. So Valkyrie's sword is sadly no match for Venom.
You're a very silly girl who look much sillier without a head. Nope, I was wrong. You look much sillier with your head. Here, let me just put that back for you.
Thor, as he is wont to do, brings down the thunder and incapacitates Venom. Hawkeye starts shooting at the puddle of goo as if that'll actually do something, but Wasp berates him since the ricochet of the bullet could harm someone.
Hawkeye gets all indignant and they argue about him trying to get himself killed.
And, well, as you can tell, it's as boring and played out as you'd think it'd be. The next day, Captain America talks to the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver about the Scarlet Witch maybe not wanting to wear such a revealing costume. I don't know why he suddenly got weirded out about this now, since in the previous two Ultimates books, both the Wasp and Giant Man's clothes came off whenever they used their shrinking or growing powers in full public view, but whatever. The point of all of this is to establish that the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are a couple. And they're also brother and sister. You know, I'm all for loving, consensual relationships between two adults, but this is still creepy, especially given that they're supposed to be iconic Marvel characters. Seriously, Marvel, what the hell? Oh, but the best part is that Wasp has to giggle at Captain America's attitude about it, as if it's just some quaint attitude that comes with having come from the 1940s. No, Wasp, it's still unbelievably creepy. You don't see Superman shacking up with his mom. Because it's creepy! Hawkeye's still pissy and thinks that the media is going to have a fit once they find out about the two. Unless we do something about it. Ooh, ominous close-up that won't have anything to do with the story. That blatant red herring totally distracted me from the fact that we had friggin' Venom attack yesterday, and all they care about is their PR crap! Hawkeye says he's going to find Black Panther since he hasn't returned yet, as well as trying to find Spider-Man to see what he knows about Venom. Also, someone needs to set up some lamps or something in Tony Stark's mansion, because this darkness can't be good on their eyes, superpowered or not. Wasp points out that Cap hasn't been around lately, and he says he needed to find a life of his own. Which, again, doesn't gel with what we saw in the previous volumes, but whatever. She's all sad because they used to date, blah blah blah. Wasp goes to her ex-husband, Hank Pym, to exposit how Tony Stark has been drinking himself into oblivion. How the hell would she notice? It's Tony friggin' Stark. I don't think there was a single panel in Ultimates 1 or 2 where he wasn't holding alcohol. The fact that Valkyrie just showed up one day without any explanation for her powers, then why the hell did you let her on the team? And that Black Panther's only real security clearance is that Captain America vouches for him. By the way, I have no idea why Hank Pym suddenly got so much freedom. Oh, did I forget to mention? Yeah, in the first Ultimates book, he unleashed a horde of ants against Wasp while she was shrunken that almost killed her because he's psychotic, and they had an argument. Then in Ultimates 2, he joined up with superpowered terrorists because he wasn't allowed to be on the team anymore. And they let him hang out in their basement, apparently. Sure, why not? It's certainly not the dumbest thing we're going to be seeing in this comic. When Pym fails to answer her, Wasp reaches out and turns his head! Oh my god! He ate too much pudding! So while Hank Pym collapses, no doubt trying to escape from the comic while he can, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch walk around being in a creepy incestuous relationship. Then suddenly, bang! Ooh, bang bang, he shot her down. Bang bang, she hit the ground. Bang bang, that awful sound. Bang bang, her baby shot her down. Well, okay, Quicksilver didn't do it, but he immediately spots the massive bullet heading for her and tries to call for help while he goes into super speed mode. Somehow the bullet actually manages to change direction as he tries to stop it. Finally, he just puts his hand in front of it to stop it, but as we see here... Oh, cool! Hey sis, check out what I can do now! Pietro, it hurts. No, actually, I don't feel a thing at all. Weird, huh? Oh, wait. A doctor on a walking stick comes running up trying to help. Now, this is probably just fan service since the implication is that this is Dr. Donald Blake, Thor's alter ego, but in the Ultimates he doesn't really have an alter ego. But point being, the first issue ends with Scarlet Witch dead. And because she's actually now fallen down, I can actually legitimately do this.
Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang.
I love that ditty. Issue 2 begins with Spider-Man, the teenage variety of the Ultimate Universe, for no particular reason hitching a ride on a cop car. Hawkeye, being out of his flippin' mind, suddenly opens fire on him to get his attention. What a nice guy. I say hello to people by shooting them too.
Hello.
Hello! Spidey recognizes him. Do the rest of the Ultimates know that you're about 40 crayons short of a box? Yeah, sanity evaluations from the guy wearing a skin-tight spider costume. In the middle of winter, no less.
Maybe I have gone a little crazy. Maybe every time I hear a gunshot it takes me right back to when my family... my kids... ...
You know, if that is the case, maybe you should stop shooting bullets everywhere, Nimrod!
Or maybe it's all an act to mess with you.
Nah, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, no doubt there. Spidey gets paralyzed thanks to one of Hawkeye's tranq darts, but before he can finish threatening him, Captain America suddenly arrives and tosses his shield at him, telling him to get back to the base.
What about the Panther? He's my responsibility now. How so?
Because I just said so! Captain America, symbol of freedom, purveyor of hope in the Marvel Universe, and apparently reducing himself to grade school taunts. Back at the mansion, Wasp has gotten Hank Pym to a bed and his robots are attending to him. Hank, if you can hear me, we need to know what you took. There were dozens of pills.
All I did was swallow a Tic Tac. How the hell could this happen?
Quicksilver bursts in to yell and ramble that his sister is dead and he couldn't stop the high-tech bullet that was programmed for her DNA. Seems like an awful lot of trouble when you could just poison her or something, but whatever. Oh, and get a load of this shot, lovingly framed so that we can't see the bullet wound, but we can see her rather generous cleavage and her pouty expression while her hair tumbles around her like a frickin' Pantene Pro V commercial. Thanks for keeping it classy, Marvel. When Wasp tells her that she didn't get any of the distress calls, Quicksilver gets indignant and says that he should have stayed with the Brotherhood of Mutants. Before their argument can continue, the main power supply to the mansion fails. I guess Stark, being the multi-billionaire genius that he is, forgot to put in a backup power supply. Or if there is, it's a piece of crap one, since all it does is make everything go red. Seriously, the lighting in this place could only get worse if there wasn't any at all. And have a nice announcement saying that the power is out. The only instance of competence here is that when the power goes out, the mansion goes into lockdown mode. For all the fat load of good it does, since right afterwards the freaking wall explodes, revealing the Brotherhood of Mutants. This really can't look good on Stark's insurance claims. Supervillains keep breaking his walls. Among them are Mystique, the Blob, Multiple Man, some woman named Lorelli, and Sabretooth. And they all look utterly ridiculous. Mystique is standing there in a tank top, because that just screams Commando Raid. Sabretooth looks like somebody scrunched his face down towards the center. Lorelli apparently has a bloody nose or something. And the Blob, well, the Blob, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, I am quite disappointed that not one of them shouted, "Oh yeah!" when they burst through that wall. Despite the fact that we just saw Mystique down near the wall she crashed through, all of a sudden she appears to Tony Stark as the Black Widow in his window, trying to screw with his emotions. How the hell did she get up there? Wasp, however, suddenly appears and knocks her out, telling Stark to get ready since she thinks the sex tape leak, Venom's attack, the Scarlet Witch's assassination, etc., are all connected. No! Really? And here I thought they were all just completely random occurrences that just happened to have all been done to your team over the course of 48 hours. Why are you the leader again? Thor and Valkyrie finished their own private Ragnarok. You know the expression that someone needs to get laid? Having read all 3 of the Ultimate books in a row, I've got to say, these people need to stop getting laid. It never ends well for them. However, a woman named Lorelli uses some sort of siren song on Thor to make him attack Valkyrie. And here we see Valkyrie's awesome acrobatic feats, which are impressive, but only serve to remind us that she's wearing a chainmail bikini. How did Valkyrie look in the regular Marvel Universe? Yeah, the Ultimate Universe is just so much more mature and realistic, isn't it? Listen, you bitch! I knew a girl like you in high school! Played all the boys because she was this hottie! She even messed with a guy I liked! And that girl's name was Bella Swan! The big difference between then and now, I couldn't chop her head off! And then I will be the only Highlander! Meanwhile, the Blob is moving through the mansion and, of course, being as stealthy as a 1,000-pound overweight mutant can be, runs into the Wasp.
Wasp, gonna eat you up!
The people who have read Ultimatum have this same expression. And you will too when we finally get to it. Iron Man suddenly bursts through the floor under him. Did you see the sign on the way in, Blob? The management reserves the right to refuse service to anyone! Which might have been a decent line if they were based out of a restaurant and not Tony's friggin' mansion. You might as well have quipped, "No shirt, no shoes, no service." Suddenly, Captain America and Hawkeye are back at the mansion. Shoot to wound, Hawkeye. I need at least one of them to interrogate.
Yeah, well, you know what the best part of killing multiple men is, Cap? There's always plenty more where that one came from.
Disobeys orders, kills at the drop of a hat, shows no forethought about his actions. Yeah, I see why they kept him on the team after his family was killed right in front of him. Sabretooth comes up behind Cap and slices him right across the back, producing quite a bit of blood, which explains why his costume, and his back in general, are perfectly fine in the next panel. Wait, what?
I want you out of this house, Creed! And don't you come back until you've thought about what you've done, young man!
So, what's Sabretooth's reaction to such a well-thought-out demand?
Suck it!
Yeah, this shot and that line certainly deserved a splash page. Well, actually, I need it because it's one of the few in this comic that actually has some variety in the color. It's so painful to look at, but I'll take what I can get.
Using language like that is what's tearing apart the moral fabric of this country.
Remember, kids, don't say naughty words like suck. It's tearing our country apart. That's why today I'm going to say this comic blows instead. Back with Quicksilver, Magneto arrives.
I thought you were locked away.
Perhaps I am locked away, and this is all an illusion. Oh, how I wish that were so. Now is the time to be with family. Family? I'm your son, and you shot off my kneecaps! Look, how many times do I have to say I'm sorry about that, okay? I really thought it was on your Christmas list, right after the Lego bricks. I wanted a Turbo Man doll, not bullets in my knees! You know, when I was younger, I would have been grateful for getting bullets in my knees.
Oh, here he goes, another when I was a boy
You are
story.
such an ungrateful
Dad,
child.
I don't
I'm
care
trying
about
to provide for you, and all you can do is complain about a few little bullets in your knees. Jeez, you think you'd end up dating your sister or something with as much messed up perspective as you've got. Anyway, Magneto convinces Quicksilver to join the Brotherhood since they'll have a better chance at finding out who killed the Scarlet Witch. Yeah, why would you want the money and resources of an international multi-billion-dollar company with ties to government agencies and the like when you instead could rely on a terrorist organization run by a guy with a garbage can on his head? Quicksilver gets the Brotherhood out of the mansion, and the Ultimates quickly realize he's turned on them. And so our comic ends with someone appearing off-panel. I know you think you've got a murder to solve, but believe me, you've got a much bigger problem on your hands. Oh my god, it's Wolverine! Oh man, this comic's about to get good! I mean, sure, these first two issues were badly drawn and colored, the dialogue was insipid and boring, and the plot points introduced here will ultimately be stupid, but it's Wolverine! You know what that means? I'm on your rage!